but Aiden O'Shea still has that low. Followed by a clothesline.
Powerful clothesline and a cover here by Aiden O'Shea. And O'Shea victorious.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 23 of the TNA Asylum Heelcast. I am your host with the most today, Raven Effect. Joined by me, as usual, is the man with the game show voice himself, Mr. TNA Dude. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, Raven Effect. How you going, bro?
Oh, me? Oh, I'm fantastic. I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but Raven Effect is a big UFC guy.
No way.
More than anything else, and this past weekend, my main man, Michael Bisping, did the unthinkable, knocked out assbag Luke Rockhold to become the new UFC middleweight heavyweight champion of the world. So I am on top of the world right now, and looking forward to Slammiversary.
Wow.
Now,
who wrote that stuff?
I believe it was Jesus Christ himself had this plan in his pocket the entire time. It's what happens. It's what happens when you're a douchebag like Luke Rockhold. Now, speaking of greatness, I have the man with us here, the new Doctor of Style himself, Mr. Numero 47. How you doing today, man?
Man, I wish I could be feeling as well as you are. I had another phone issue over the past weekend. I basically threw $200 to fix the phone. So at least I got it up and running now. I'm back here on the show again.
Well, we're glad to have you back, and that's what those phone companies do. They fuck you, they fuck you, they fuck you with the phones.
Yeah, basically $300 to fix this phone. I could have bought myself another phone at that.
Exactly. Now, I was quoting Lethal Weapon 4 right there, which, our man Griggs isn't here today, but, we're going to be able to move on because we still have Murtaugh himself, who is back with us. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, our first executive producer himself, Mr. Old School Heel, has returned to the TNA Asylum Heelcast. So I just want to be the one to say thank you for your return. We now have two executive producers. Old School Heel, welcome back. We are happy to have you here. We have our featured comment of the week. I'm going to go ahead and let our man TNA Dude go ahead and let us know about the featured comment of the week.
So sure, our featured comment this week comes from the chairman, who said that earlier in the year, when Matt was doing that iconic stuff, I said that James Storm should have been in that position. Storm needs to be booked better in general. The guy is a part of TNA history. Treat the man like the legend he is. Don't let him go the way of AJ, Rude, Aries, Joe. Please, TNA, do something with him. He's way too talented. Guys, you know what? I completely agree with that. James Storm is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Now, our good one percenter, he brought up another great comment that I didn't want to let go unnoticed. We're going to have two this week. And 1%er said that the odds of the X Division Championship changing hands at Slammiversary is 1 in 8. The X Division Championship has been successfully defended 8 out of 9 times at Slammiversary. So 1%er, that's a great stat, buddy, but you might want to check your math because it's actually 1 in 9. And we also had a tweet of the week. This is one actually from last week, but it was so epic that we just couldn't help but put it on the show this week. Tased said to Gail Kim, "Can you ever see yourself in NXT?" Gail Kim's response was, "Maybe when John Cena turns heel." Da-dong-dong.
Thank you, Gail Kim. TNA Talents, this is how you respond to these questions, Velvet, Matt Hardy. But thank you, Gail, for finally being the person to do that. So, guys, that was last week's, kind of tied in with Shark Boy for Tweet of the Week. So this one was about trying to find the TNA Tweet of the Week was kind of hard this week. But then last night and today, something magical just seems to happen and fell into our laps. everyone here familiar with the Cody Rhodes list that we talked about a couple weeks back about all the guys he wanted to wrestle?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Numero.
I was just upset that he didn't want to wrestle with us.
Cody?
Yeah.
No, it's fine with me.
Why aren't we on his bucket list? This is a guy that I've been tweeting for TNA to bring in, and the Heelcast isn't even on his bucket list.
And whatever. He wants those stupid streamer things that real TNA talent would wipe their ass with. But you know what? Speaking of that, a real TNA talent who would wipe his ass with those streamers, our main man, the best wrestling act on the entire internet, Aiden O'Shea himself, made his own list today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why TNA needs to put Aiden O'Shea on television. So let's go ahead and let's just kind of review Mr. O'Shea's list here. He says that he would like to give Dixie an awkward handshake, hug, cheek kiss combo as a greeting. He wants to win all Impact Wrestling titles. He wants to give Big John Gaburek a chest bump after a win. He wants to make money and get paid, yo. And also rub Billy Corgan's head for good luck. Here's where the best parts come. He wants to punch asshat number 2, which is Grado. He wants to punch asshat number 3, which is Mahabali Shira, which, I mean, this is starting to sound like my bucket list, too, if I were a wrestler. He wants to shake Al Snow's hand for punching Grado and Mahabali Shira. Oh, and speaking honestly, he says he'd like to sell webcam footage from the Knockouts dressing room to interweb nerds.
Like us?
And then he said, yeah, exactly. I'm in.
I'm all in, man. How much?
Get me to Rebel and Maria, and I will give you whatever you want. But then he says, shh, it's really just some random apartment wrestling and custom matches I have, but who cares? Get paid. He wants to challenge James Storm to a drinking contest on Impact on Pop. And then he says, hashtag sorry about your luck, but think of the ratings. He also says he'd like to use those streamers to wipe his ass and his nose, but not in that order. Great. I legitimately love that comment. Screw the streamers. It is so lame and just, whatever. And he wants to continue to ruffle feathers and chap asses and irritate. Now, guys, this is the stuff you get with Aiden O'Shea all the time on the internet. He's the best internet wrestling act out there right now. For some reason, Impact does not put the guy on the show. Now, as you guys know, we have this petition that we have going on. It's kind of been our baby where we're trying to get enough signatures. You just go to change.org. You can sign it anonymously. It literally takes like 15 seconds. Go to change.org. Go to the search menu and type in Aiden O'Shea. I've actually been saving this comment for a while now, but Ryan Olivier, a big TNA fan, one of our Heelcast listeners, he described the lack of putting Aiden O'Shea on television as the most wasted potential he's seen since the new Ghostbusters movie. And I don't think that really it gets much more clear than that, but we got to bring someone in. Like, I fucking give up trying to explain it to these guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I got to make a phone call. You guys want me to make a call? We got to resort to this now?
Dude, I'm always up for a call. How about you, Numero? You up for a phone call?
I always am. More voices, opinions.
These motherfuckers out there, you asked for it, so I'm making this phone call. I'm calling the man himself. Aiden O'Shea is now with us on the Heelcast, everyone.
What's up, Mutts? Man, I think you guys just kind of hit the nail on the head with that Ghostbusters comment. I mean, like, you can't replace the Ghostbusters with 4 silly broads and expect to do the same thing that the original did. I mean, I don't know. Shit. You guys kind of caught me off guard here a little bit here, and I'm a little bit lost for words, and which is kind of odd for me. You guys coming out with this petition and just like getting behind what I do, and wanting to see me kind of do my thing on Impact. All I can say, man, if you guys are a fan of what I do and you want to get entertained by the thug and my sarcasm and my gruffness and my assholishness, if that's a word, hey man, sign it. Have these guys drop it onto Big John and Dixie's desk down in Nashville, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed for what I do on TV if given the chance. With that said, guys, I mean, it's an odd business, man, we're in, and I know you guys are diehard fans, and I love wrestling fans that are like that. What's got me into wrestling was being a diehard fan, but there's so much shit that goes on in the pro wrestling business. I don't say shit as a bad thing. I'm just saying in general, like, that we got no idea about. There's talent, there's office personnel, there's TV contracts all over the world. If you look on the internet, potential investors, if that's a thing, that's a lot going on. So, trust me, I am as restless as ever to get something going for myself and to do my thing on Impact. But I got to give it time and try to be patient and remember to be patient, even if it takes a few drinks to drag the patience out of me, and have faith that it'll happen. Have faith in Big John and creative, and have faith that there's something there for me. They're painting a picture. That's what wrestling is. I think Al Snow had said, we're painting a picture, and every wrestler is a piece of this puzzle or this picture that we're putting together. I think I could fit in that picture in a really big way with what I do and who I am. Just a matter of time when they're going to let me paint that picture. So, you guys coming on here or, on a week in and week out and promoting the shit out of me is a little bit humbling, to be honest with you. So I appreciate that. And if you guys continue to do your thing and an opportunity comes for me, I will guarantee I will do my thing and be the guy you guys want to see.
That's couldn't sum it up any better myself. And now there's one other tweet that I wanted to just mention here, and this is basically, the most admirable thing about this entire situation is that there was a tweet that came out. It looks like horror/wrestling UK is what the guy says, and he says, to Aiden O'Shea, you promote TNA nonstop, yet they don't even book you. It seems unfair. Your response: time will come. You might. Impact Wrestling knows this. # the thug. The one thing, guys, and I just want to clarify, is that this was Aiden O'Shea had nothing to do with this petition, other than just being a great act that we knew had to hit TV. He didn't ask for this. You don't see this guy go out and whine and complain. He is being patient. He's a company man. He's doing the right things for TNA, and it's something that needs to be brought up and supported, because how many people are going to go out there and whine and cry and complain that they're not being used right, and then go out there and fumble the ball. This guy knows what he can do, but he's doing the right things to go about it. And I just want everyone out there to know that he didn't ask us to do this. We did this because we know how damn good he is.
And you know what, man, I again, I'm humbled by statements like that. And I didn't ask for the help, but that's what makes it, really, strike a chord with me. But I was taught a long time in this business that, if you do good business, you do business the right way, and you're good for business, the business will eventually be about you. Not everybody is going to get that spot to be the top dog. Not everybody is going to, get to be that main eventer. There's got to be guys on the undercard. There's got to be guys in the middle card. And, sometimes you're going to have to sit the bench. But, if you're good for business, the business will be about you eventually. And it's kind of been the mindset that I've kind of applied, for this. I jokingly call the detention on Twitter that, I'm sitting in timeout. I'm on detention for whatever reason. And, my hands are tied and shackled right now. But I want wrestling in general to do better. And it's not just a TNA thing. I want wrestling in general to do better. I want there to be more overall better products out there so the talent can thrive and have better places to wrestle and the business can thrive. But beyond that, TNA is where I'm currently calling home right now. This is where I do my thing. And, so of course I'm going to promote the shit out of it, because more eyes on Impact, more eyes on me when the time comes. And the better the company does, then the better the opportunity that will eventually come my way. So, that's kind of been my take on this whole situation. I don't think there's a doubt that, they know they have something with me. And I don't mean to say that with my typical, asshole arrogance. There's been ideas for me. There's been ideas that I've sit in myself, that I've talked to Creative about, that I've talked to Big John about. And shit just keeps happening. If somebody gets hurt, plans got to change, something's got to get tweaked here and there, and it doesn't fit the puzzle right now. So again, I just have to remind myself, to bite my tongue and to be patient and to have faith in guys like Big John, who's running the company, not just managing talent and, making a TV show. He wears about 4 or 5 different hats, that it's going to happen and it's going to come. And I think, once they hear from the fan base like TNA has, that is very, very, very passionate, I think is, the TNA fans aren't very casual wrestling fans. They're typically very diehard people who follow the product pretty hard, and I think more that they hear what you guys want. I think TNA is a company that's more apt to give it to you, as opposed to some of the other promotions out there who kind of, they have their way of doing things, and that's the way it's going to be. That's one thing I like about TNA, is that, they're very accessible to the fans. Where else do you see someone like, Dixie, the owner, and someone like Dave Lagana, who weekly ask for feedback from you guys as a fan? What do you want to see? What did you like? What didn't you like? And then engage people. That's kind of a thing that's unique to TNA. I really dig that. So hopefully, if you guys dig what I do, throw the name on the dotted line. When the time comes, I'll do the same, and I'll kick ass on TV, and we'll go from there.
It's funny you mentioned Dixie and Dave Lagana, because both of those actually tweeted me today, just as an aside. A lot of people don't know this, but the Heelcast actually started. We were going to get together and do a series of articles on what makes a good wrestling program. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what makes a great wrestling program. And what it kept coming back to was variety. You need the men, you need the women, you need the high flyers, you need the brawlers, you need the upper card, you need the middle card. But one thing, Aiden, that I think is you really bring to the table that TNA's missing right now is that sarcasm. They have a lot of smarky kind of characters, but they don't really have that true sarcastic, all the time kind of asshole guy. And I really think that is something that you can bring to the table that is just a little bit different than Eli Drake and some of the other ones out there. So I don't just think that, we don't just want to see you on television, because we do recognize what you bring to the table. But I think as far as TNA is concerned, I think TNA needs to kind of look at that and say, this guy really has something a little bit different, something that can help the program.
No, I mean, I agree. And I say that trying not to sound arrogant. I can look at myself and compare myself to the roster and see that, there ain't really a guy like me, and wrestling in general. Like, I think a lot of guys nowadays in wrestling, and I've been doing this game a long time, I think everyone wants to be the cool, cocky guy a lot of times. And yeah, I have that in me a little bit with the thug, but it's not done the way that I do it. So it makes it different, and I think with that personality type of being a very sarcastic, chauvinistic bully, with a really sharp wit, and then you throw in my wrestling style and my size and my athleticism, it's a unique animal. You could throw me in there. When I was in there with Bobby Lashley, at the beginning of the year, we're practically the same size. Obviously, he's a little bit leaner than I am, but we're both around the same size and shape. You know what I mean? And, and I could get in there and go with the smaller guys too, as far as, with the X Division stuff or some of the faster paced guys, and present a different dynamic. and again, or you just throw something totally off the wall, like what I did with Spud at the One Night Only pay-per-view in January. So, yeah, like I agree with you. And that's one of the things that excites me about working in wrestling for TNA is that I have such a unique something to offer this roster, and then all the fresh stories and interactions and matches I can present to not only the company, but each individual wrestler that I can get placed with or tag team or group or whatever. Like, it's just, it can change the dynamic. It can be really interesting.
We're going to go ahead and let's do our sound off from last week. And how about, why don't we have the Thug step in and go with the sound off responses from last week? How's that sound, everyone?
Works for me, buddy.
Hey man, I'm here. I might as well have some fun with these mutts, right? Absolutely.
Tear it up. Let them know.
All right, so sound off this week with look at what we got here. So I'm going to start with the TNA Asylum bunch because that's you mutts, right? And you guys are the ones running this deal. So we got the chairman, and I also like anything about anybody who can always come up with any Twitter or internet handle they can think of. Like, what the fuck is the chairman? Like, what are you the chairman of? Like, and why would you pick that? Like, I don't understand. Like typically wrestling people are a little bit nerdy. Like, why couldn't you be like, like you couldn't come up with something cooler than that? Like, you're the fucking chairman. Like, you want to be Vince? I don't get that. Anyways, the chairman. What I'm looking forward to, and I will note that 2 is TOO. You misspelled that, so you're definitely not the chairman of grammar. So what I'd like to look forward to at Slammiversary is the world title match and EC3 versus Bennett. Wow, I would have never saw that one coming. You're gravitating towards the top 2 matches on the pay-per-view. How very, very casual fan of you, chairman. Anyways, you guys ever think like EC3 and Bennett could be like brothers? You ever look at them and like be like, dude's like Bennett is like EC3's like annoying little brother, like he's just beating the shit out of him. Anybody catch that ever? I mean, I get that vibe sometimes. Like, you look at them, they're similar builds, but whatever. 1%. Again, I have to wonder, what are you the 1% of, and why the hell is that your Twitter handle? I guess what I'd like to see happen is Bobby Lashley picking up the win. I'd like to Bobby put Drew in a submission, but Drew refuses to tap out, and so Bobby wins via knockout. It seems Drew's looking strong, but also making Bobby look awesome. But if what? Did anybody else catch that? I mean, honestly, guys, like, chime in. Like, did you guys catch that? Like, how, like, so you want Bobby to put Drew in a submission, but Drew doesn't tap out, so it's a knockout. No, a knockout is when you get hit in the face and you fall down, you don't get up. You would technically, no, knockout is what I do. I punch people, they go down, they don't get up. If you're in a submission hold and you don't tap out and you pass out, it is still a submission, so therefore it's deemed a tap out or submission. Like, Jesus, come on, guys. Like, if you're going to, I appreciate the passionate fandom, but I mean, this guy just went in here to detail about how he was going to armchair book a finish, and it made no sense, man. Maybe you should like run that by like you're a creator wrestler or some shit on Wrestling 2K16 and see how that runs. Anyways, the next section, we're going YouTube here. Honestly, you guys, I use YouTube a lot. I watch random old wrestling stuff. You know what else I watch on YouTube? Up injuries. You ever see any of that shit? No? Anybody? No? Like fucked up injuries, like just bizarre accidents and people like, oh, it's like fucking brutal. Anyways.
We're too
seen
busy
the crazy one with Psycho Sid.
Heelcast.
Yeah, the Psycho Sid one. How brutal was that? I remember watching that live on pay-per-view and like dropping my pizza and being like, what the fuck?
That was disgusting, man. That was awful. Man. Oh man.
Like I saw one the other day, and this is gonna sound, it's not so much an injury, but it makes me wonder about fucking how we're completely screwed as a species nowadays. So like, it's this guy and he's at like a nasal doctor, right? And they've got like this a camera up his nose and probably looking around if he's, you're thinking, oh God, what are they going to find up there? What did this guy stuck like a fucking carrot up his nose or something? Or, you know what I mean? Like, or what? Like, I remember when I was a kid, like I stuck gum up my nose and sneezed it out. Like, I'm like, but this is like a grown ass man, right? Like,
but it got stuck for like 2 years.
Yeah, no, this was like a grown ass 40-year-old man, probably, facial hair, and the doctor's in there with the utensils. And he starts pulling, and he starts pulling, and he starts pulling. And the biggest ball of booger and snot came out of this dude's nose. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how long did it take you to go to the doctor to get this thing pulled out? Like, before, like, I couldn't, and you guys like, oh, I can breathe again. So, like, this ball of snot was up your nose for, like, months before you decided to go, oh, I should probably go to the doctor to get this fixed. Or I should probably stick my finger or a Q-tip up there to clear this shit out. I mean, this was like a ball of snot, like the size of, like, my thumb, and it was really gross. Anyways, that's what I saw on YouTube, so that's what I think of. Sorry, guys, I just went off on a tangent there. Anyways, the Danish core, I don't even know what the fuck a Danish core is. I can't stand Drew Galloway. Well, you're Danish. I don't think the Danish like the fucking Scots. No wonder why. I can't stand Drew Galloway. He's the only mainstream wrestler worse than Seth Rollins. So the outcome I hope to see the most is TNA take the belt off that guy and put it on Lashley, who has been on fire this year. So I agree with you. Lashley has been on fire this year. I sucker punched the guy, and it was like just pissing off Superman. It wasn't a good experience. But I'm just gonna throw this out there. Like, you can't stand Drew Galloway and you can't stand Seth Rollins, but I'm gonna throw it out there that their bank accounts probably look significantly better than yours, Danish core, and they probably do not give a shit. So they're gonna go do their thing, and they're gonna probably go hang out with a bunch of hot broads and lift a bunch of weights and do CrossFit, because that's what those guys do, and laugh at you all the way to the bank, whether they win, lose, or draw.
While he's eating cheese Danishes, right?
Yeah, whatever the Danish core is. I don't know. I guess there's probably like a blood feud between the Galloways and the Cores in Europe or some shit. Anyways, Twitter. Look at that. The Hart Legacy actually responded to the Heelcast this week, and I think that's up there with Andre Corbeil, who's another buddy of mine, one of you internet nerd types from OneWrestling.com, and me and him shoot the shit every now and then. Might be heading up that way actually soon. See if that works out. According to on Twitter, we have hashtag Lashley is the workhorse to ride until hashtag Bound for Glory. Fight Bobby equals credibility. TNA needs to be taken seriously. Well, I'm kind of torn on this one. I don't know who the hell sent that in, if that was the Hart Legacy or not, or if that was somebody else, because I don't have a handle on there. But yeah, I mean, Lashley's kind of the fucking real deal. I mean, like, the man's, I mean, he literally looks like he walk through a brick wall. He's, I don't know, is he, or he's about to be, or he's shooting for the Bellator heavyweight title soon, or he's fighting for that?
He's getting close, but look, yeah, we got Bobby Lashley, right?
Yeah.
And we got that other guy in the WWE coming to fight pretty soon, Lesnar, right?
Yeah.
So let's put it out there, Aiden O'Shea. You're the thug, buddy. Who you taking in that fight? You taking Lashley or Lesnar?
Ooh. Yeah. You know what? Here, I'm going to tell you. Fuck. I don't even know. God, don't put me on the spot like that. Next time you see Bobby, he's probably going to like stretch the shit out of me if I go with Brock. But I mean, God. No, I'm going to tell you. I will tell you a crazy story. A little like so the first time I was in Japan, Bobby Lashley was on the event, and he was wrestling Kazuyuki Fujita, who was one of like Inoki's disciples. The guy who fought in Pride, the guy was like an Olympic hopeful in Japan. Real short, stocky guy. They call him, I think they call him like Ironhead is his nickname over there, Iron Jaw or something. So the sponsors of the event put a cash bet with each other and then gave the winner a chunk of the winnings to see who could take down the other one first between Bobby and Fujita in the match. And Bobby got it. And Bobby went home like I mean, it was lightning quick how fast someone like Bobby can move. And so yeah, Bobby won this event. I remember sitting in this gentleman's club with all like these bikini clad Japanese women like feeding us and giving us Jack Daniels, and these sponsors being shit faced and giving Lashley all this money. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And he's like, oh yeah, we had a bet. I took down Fujita first, so I won. So like the dude like doubled his pay or something like that by taking down Fujita. But anyways, like, man, I honestly don't know who would win that fight. And I would that is a legit fight I would pay to see. Like, I would buy the pay-per-view. I could see that live, see it in person if it was ever to happen. I really don't know, because they're both just such freaks of nature. And for men of that size, like both over 6'3", 250, and the how fast they move, it's kind of ridiculous. I have no idea.
And neither one can box either. Do you know what I'm saying?
But they're both wrestlers, though. Like,
right, exactly.
It's like, that's the sick part of it. Like, you're that fast and you know how to torture people with your own body. That's ridiculous.
I'm thinking it comes down to whoever would actually be the better boxer, because the takedowns are just gonna, you know what I mean? They're just gonna cancel each other out.
It could come down to who can swing harder and longer, and there's only like a 4-ounce glove those guys wear, and those are big fucking fists, man. Like, that's not going to take a whole lot of fists for someone to go down with that little padding. So anyway, Cine doll, that sounds like Cine, like it sounds like some kind of like religious sex toy, like the Cine doll. Like, you come here to say, I don't know what the fuck that is.
If Lashley, that's a real woman, she is definitely the Heelcast hottie of the year. I'll tell you that. We're proud of this one.
She's sliding in your DMs a lot there, huh?
Restraining orders, that kind of thing. But, I try.
She's all right. Heelcast hottie short list, so we're gonna leave Cine alone here, all right?
Hey, whatever floats your boat and creams your Twinkie, guys. Whatever works. So anyway, she wants to see Lashley become champion. Man, that's kind of like the overwhelming thing. Like, they want to see Lashley pick up the win, and that's honestly like it's kind of scary. Like, because how the hell if that guy gets the victory, do you stop him? Man, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, it doesn't sit well in my stomach. Anyways, Nick, who is a female. Nick, I'm going to ask you to get a different name, because I have an ex named Nikki, and I'd like to forget about her. And Nick probably doesn't do much for you, letting people know you're a female. So unless you're going the tranny route, probably change the name. Anyways, the Decay to destroy the bromance, and for Jeff Hardy to put Matt through a table. Again, I'm going to question wrestling fan logic. Have they not watched TV? Didn't Jeff just put Matt through a table like a couple weeks ago, which made Matt like the Phantom of the Hardy or some shit like that? Like, he's playing the piano and he's got the white streak in his hair now. But like, isn't that what started it all? Jeff put him through a table. You already saw it. Like, you want to see it again? Like, jeez. The Decay. You know what? Like, I like the Decay. I could like to see them, beating the shit out of Robbie E and Jesse. I mean, leave the broad alone. I mean, she's kind of fun to look at. She's Brazilian. She's on the buffet of yum. You know what I mean? So, like, don't do anything to her. And that Decay girl, I know she's a little batshit crazy, so she's probably got some work cut out for her.
Dude, that's my sister.
Sorry. Ryan Olivier, who we mentioned above. He's all about the Decay smashing anything in their path. Well, I'd like to be all about TNA and smashing anything in my path, including the Knockout Locker Room. But I can't say that. Anyways, Brookside Raider. Probably the smartest thing anyone said so far. Grado and Shira getting wiped out by the Tribunal. I 100% agree. These two mutts have just overstayed their welcome, and the only way that this would get better if I got to do it myself and just wipe them out myself. But like I said in my list, I will gladly shake Al Snow's hand for helping rid the world of Marble Mouth Shira and Fred Flintstone. So, anyway, did anybody get the vibe like those two are like the perfect strangers of pro wrestling? Like how did this happen? Like, you ever remember the Perfect Strangers? Like the TV show.
Which one?
Yeah,
which one's Balky?
Yeah, Balky. Yeah, Balky. But it's like you've got this. I don't know, like this overly nice and polite Indian guy who barely speaks English, and you got a guy who does speak English, but you can't understand a word he says. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of just. It's ridiculous. But anyways, that is our sound off. I hope I offended many of you, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. I'll get to you later, or tweet me, and I'll try to get it that way. And if I did, that was my job, and I hope you liked it.
I think a lot of our loyal fan base, including the chairman, who has done the show a couple of times, is going to be happy to hear how the Thug did him in. Thug, I got to ask you one question real fast, though. Now, I see your list, and, Fred Flintstone and Marble Mouth Shira, they were asshat number 2 and asshat number 3. I just got to know, who was asshat number 1?
Oh, that's for you to wonder about. There has been people in my life that have pissed me off or bothered me more than those two morons. So the number 1 is out there, but we're just going to leave it at that for now. Can't say the name. I don't want a restraining order. Let's put it that way. But yeah, they're 2 and 3.
All right. I'm sure asshat number 1 knows exactly who he or she is.
Oh, they do.
All right. Numero, Mr. GQ, Dr. Style, you want to go ahead and hit it on me for the plugs for the week?
Sure. As always, we have our weekly show with FK9. He's always a fan of the shows, which is why we're going to give him a special plug-in that, Can you hear me?
No.
Oh, we're hearing you, Barry White. We're hearing you.
But can you hear me now?
Still, no, I can't hear you.
We can hear you. Dude, don't fall for it again. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to be...
Dude, I would probably pay you a good chunk of change to just sing Sexual Healing and just play it randomly when, like, knockouts walk in the room.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
It's you, Numero, okay? Not me. Nobody wants to hear me sing again.
No, who do you think I would want to hear that? Listen to that voice. Come on, man. Like, you probably get, like, the broads probably walk into the room when you just say hello and, like, the panties drop, don't they? You don't even have to buy them a drink, do you?
I grab everybody's attention, okay?
So Numero, that is a request. Will you sing Sexual Healing for us? I've sang.
You know, I do karaoke, so if you guys have any request songs that you want to hear, I'll try my best, but you know what? I'm not the best singer, but hey, karaoke is all about fun, right?
We're going to have to get Aiden O'Shea and Rebel to show up at the same bar that you're karaokeing at one night.
Nah, man, I'm gonna walk in, and she's gonna be sitting at the bar, and you're just gonna start singing, and we're just gonna, like, lock eyes, me and her, and it's just gonna be that song, and then that's it, man. But all I'm saying is, like, we're gonna lock eyes, and that song's gonna come on with that guy's, numero uno's voice, and she's just gonna be powerless. It's just nothing's gonna stop.
Absolutely. He's a gentleman. He'll take her at least to the public bathroom there before that. Come on, guys.
Find a number 4 stall.
My friend actually did that one time, so that's why it popped into mind.
Sounds like you have a lot of stories then.
Well, maybe 1 or 2, but, life on the road, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll remember that. Anyway, let's just try to go back with all the things going on the site. As I was saying before, we had straight shooting with our own friend of the show, FK9. And we also want to give a special shout out to Shinran, who gave us a follow on Twitter this week, which is always a good thing to have, anybody join the to follow the Heelcast, because, we need love too, not just from amongst ourselves. But we're also getting some kind of appreciation from the King of the Mountain Radio. So another fellow, TNA podcast, the more voices that can get out there about positivity, the better, right? And finally, we have the Revive X Division petition that we're still going on. We know that tapings for TNA are happening this week, next week after Slammiversary. So, why not just keep the X Division petition going as we have seen after Slammiversary?
Yeah, absolutely. We got the live show coming up on Tuesday. Hashtag Revive the X Division. Go to change.org. Sign the petition to get the X Division back in full force. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, we want to see the Thug on Impact Wrestling as well. The Aiden O'Shea petition, so we can get enough signatures, so we can be the ones that change it, the ones who bring the voice to TNA to make sure, like Aiden O'Shea said earlier, Dave Lagana, Dixie Carter, they're on Twitter, they're listening. Let's do this. Let's help TNA. Let's make it change, everyone. Thank you very much. And also, Numero, you're right. Our friends at King of the Mountain Radio, they do a great show. Love what they're doing. It's good to have another positive voice out there other than us, FK9 and them. We're the mega powers of TNA. Talk, at least. Now, guys, let's go ahead, and we got our special guest here. We got him on here. Let's go ahead and ask our man, Aiden O'Shea, a few questions, guys. Everyone up for that this week?
Hell yeah.
That's right. Now, Aiden, I want to ask you a question now. From what I saw on Twitter, former TNA wrestler Jay Bradley, no, you're related to this guy somehow, is that correct?
Yeah, man, he's like my second or third cousin on my mom's side from her half brother's marriage. Some weird shit goes on late at night, in the bars, and the guy owes me a Christmas present and some cash. I sold him some wrestling boots and never got any money. It's all back, but I've recently just been able to hack access to his Twitter, so you'll be seeing a lot more Aiden O'Shea through Jay Bradley's former Twitter handle.
So Aiden, I got a question for you, right?
Okay. And what do you got?
I got a good one for you here, buddy. Look, for some reason, and we talked a little bit about it, the TNA matchmakers, they've been keeping you off TV for a while. Did they forget that you beat Crazy Steve last year? And he's half the tag team champions, right? So how does it feel to have proven yourself already as you defeated a current TNA champion, right? But you're not able to crack those skulls like you want to.
Well, the powers that be and the matchmakers, the pencils, sometimes they got really short attention spans, and sometimes they got really long memories. So unfortunately, pro wrestling is a "what are you doing for me now?" or "what have you done lately for me?" business. I can only think that what I did to Crazy Steve by knocking his head off with the clothesline kind of prompted a little bit of the attitude change, just like what I did with Spud in January. I kind of have that knock. Once you get hit by me a couple times, you probably kind of want to think about, your life and what you did to get to that moment, and you probably should change some things. But hey, man, yeah, it's been a little bit of a sabbatical here, and I keep saying I've been put in detention, and I've got my hands shackled, and I can only do so much, but I'm here, man. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go. Pretty much on a moment's notice. If they call, I'm there. But again, I got to have the opportunity first. But that just shows you, if I'm knocking the shit out of Crazy Steve, late last year, he's a tag team champion now. What do you think I could do if I get taken off this leash?
Yeah, you mentioned you defeated a champion, but last year you were defeated by Mahibale Shira. But
you need to shut your mouth, Barry White.
Me?
Yeah,
you love the sound of my voice, though.
Yeah, but I don't want you to talk about no fucking Shira.
Well, I'm giving you a chance to speak out on this. So, he backed out of a match with you. Why do you think he ran away from the Thug?
Because did you see what I did to Spud instead? Like, that would have been Shira.
So that's some unfinished business going on there.
It's pretty plain and simple, man. Like, you don't like me, I don't like him. You don't want nothing to do with me. He knows I'll beat the shit out of him. You start talking about me getting defeated by him. That was a fluke. That was a one-time thing. That's never going to happen again. I think the best thing that's going on right now is Al Snow trying to get rid of that mutt. Barry White, you're losing brownie points with me. I'm going to tell you right now, bringing that shit up.
I'll tell you, I agree. Al Snow trying to get rid of that guy is great. And look, I don't know if anyone else caught it, but it looked like he was hooking your belt loop. And I'm pretty sure before he hit you, you had something in your eye you were trying to wipe out. It definitely was not a fair victory. And it's no surprise he ran away at One Night Only Live. But it seems like he got some unfinished business with that Mahibale Shira. But look, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but his new little BFF Grado. You got any thoughts on that clown? Other than being an asset?
Well, yeah, he's asset number 2 or 3. I sucker punched that kid. I think he looks like the Scottish version of Fred Flintstone, with a singlet on. But yeah, I sucker punched him. What was that? And the Feaster fired a few months back. And somehow this asshole gets fired from the company and gets to let go, come back, in the back door and gets to have another shot. And I'm sitting there going, man, I just want a shot. So somehow Grado, this travesty of pro wrestling about how this guy gets put on TV and put in a pro wrestling ring worldwide, gets fired, gets brought back, and then gets a second chance. And here I am knocking on the door, kicking the door, trying to knock the door down, and I can't even get a chance. I think there's something wrong with that picture there. So I want to know what he's doing and who he's doing it with behind the scenes, because maybe something else is going on there that's not on the level. So no, I don't like Grado either.
You don't like Grado, Ben? TNA's dude's favorite wrestler and your pal Al Snow has these problems with the Truffle Shuffling Mutts. Has he contacted you to come out and join this group that he's creating?
Hey man, I'll be honest with you. It's no secret. Al Snow has been a mentor to me throughout my career. I've worked with Al a lot through my time in OVW and with my time in TNA and my time with WWE. There's no secret about that. So have I talked to Al? Absolutely. We talk often about a lot of shit. And we may or may have not talked about me giving him and the French fries a hand. So I'm not going to spoil it anymore. Like, I'm not going to tell you my plans. Like, because then, then Grado and Shira know the plans. And come on, man. That's kind of a dumb question. Why would you want me to spill everything?
So I got a question for you, right?
Okay.
So,
what do you got?
So Rockstar Spud, right? It took Shira's place and he wrestled you at O&O Live this year because, of course, Shira, he's scared of getting punched in the groin by the Thug. Now, he not only scored a cheap fluke victory, and it was a very cheap and a very fluke victory, right? But he's also kind of had a change of personality since then. Does that make you feel differently about him now? I mean, do you have more respect for him, or do you still just want to, rip his head off?
No, I don't want to rip Spud's head off. I mean, I would rip Spud's head off, but like I don't. Like, I mean, I think the beating I gave him and the embarrassment I gave him kind of probably knocked some sense into him that, that, like I said, that whole perspective he had and the point of view on life, it probably wasn't working too well for him. And suddenly, shortly thereafter, he has a little bit of a change of an attitude. He gets a little bit more of an edge. He gets a little angrier. I kind of like it. I like it. He's kind of like, quit caring so much about, people cheering and screaming for him. Quit, worrying about the rules and what's right and what's wrong and just being Spud, doing his thing, whatever that is. I think you can kind of directly trace a path right back to me beating the shit out of him a few months ago. And then I think the light bulb went on. So, can I knock Spud out? Yes. Do I want to right now? Nah, not really. I like him a lot better this way, so I'm just going to let him be.
It's weird. We mentioned Al Snow, and I forgot to mention that Al Snow is my mother's favorite wrestler, but,
that's
since
crazy. He's my mom's favorite wrestler, too, legit.
That's crazy. I can understand that.
Mama O'Shea loves her some Al Snow.
You know what? He's also Wake Chambers, our executive producer. Al Snow is Wake's mama's favorite wrestler, too. It's fucking crazy.
Fuck, Al got around back in the day, didn't he?
I hear you. He might be my dad somehow. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's Wake's, but who knows? But we're talking about...
Holy shit, guys. I don't know my dad, so there's something there. That's all I got to say. All right. Carry on.
Al Snow may owe someone child support, but look...
Hey, have your mom call me.
Will do.
So you're trying to tell me you want Al Snow's sloppy seconds? Come on, Thug.
No, all I'm saying is his mom obviously puts out.
No, she's showered since then. Fuck, it was the 80s.
Yeah, there you go.
See? She showered.
Avatar. If anyone was getting ass, it was Avatar back in the days. We know this.
Battle Cat too, man. Battle Cat was a poon hound.
Leaf Cassidy.
Yeah, Leaf and Marty. I'm sure.
Hey, chicks dig rock stars, man. The Rockers. Come on.
Yeah, these were new rockers. They were putting a new word on tag team when it came to Wake's mother. I'll tell you that, guys. No, I mean, we're talking all these MILFs and these broads, and look, we see on Twitter, we know that the thug Aiden O'Shea has an appetite for the women that would have made Ravishing Rick Rude look gay. Now, we're talking about this match with Rockstar Spud that you had, and I just got to say, the world wants to know, you told a certain lady there in the audience your hotel room number. Now, did she come up later after the match to get some of that thuggish, ruggish bone, or what?
Hey, man, a gentleman never spills the beans. Is that the saying? Or gentlemen, kiss and tell? I ain't telling you. I'll let you wonder about what I do. I will say your friend did come, though.
Stole my second question, because that's...
No, and I do mean her friend did come.
Now, look, Aiden, we've been following you on Twitter, buddy. And we know that you definitely have a way with the ladies. You've got rebels.
They love me. They love me. All of them.
Oh, they love you.
They love me. Some of them don't know it yet, but they all love me.
Well, you got rebels. She's talking about straps and whips and chains. And dude, you got me thinking, right? I'm a businessman. Yeah. You're a businessman, right?
Yeah.
So I got a business proposition for you. One that you just can't pass up.
Is it better than the webcam in the Knockouts locker room?
Oh, it's this is a new product, buddy.
Because even if I said Twitter, I said even if I sold access to that for $1 a day or $1 a month, like I make millions with all the internet where nerds going nuts over that. I would be loaded.
Dude, this is Beanie Baby B. Okay.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I need you to bring Rebel to the table to model. Wait for it. The Heelcast hottie / TNA dude underwear. It doesn't get any better than that, dude. Look, it appeals to everybody. The men.
Hold on, dude. Hold on, I want to stop you. You ever see Victoria's Secrets, man? I think there's something better out there. You ever see that catalog? Hey, dude, I'm just saying.
It's gonna say Heelcast hottie on the back. What kind of man doesn't like that? And on the front, the TNA dude in a heart logo. I mean, Raven Effect's gonna love both sides equally. Well, everybody wearing them.
Why would I want to see Rebel with your name on her crotch?
Why would anybody want to see Rebel with my name on her crotch?
That's what I'm totally befuddled by this. Like, why?
I would look at any name on her crotch, to be honest with you guys. But
let me tell you something. Raven Effect would love to see TNA dude's name on her crotch. All right, he could buy them for his wife, and he could have me and her at the same time, dude. I'm telling you, you bring Rebel to the table.
I'm going to stop you right now, man. Like, whatever you guys do with each other on your spare time, when you're not watching wrestling and with your wives and with each other, I'm kind of cool with not knowing that. You guys can just, do your thing with each other's wives or each other and dress up as Rebel and put each other's names on each other's crotches and do your thing.
So you're out, man.
It's 2016. It's 2016, man. If you ain't fucking with my life, I ain't fucking with yours.
Oh man, so I got to work on locker room cam then. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy. Nah, man, I'm telling you, I'm a tech tard, man. If I can't point and click, I can't figure shit out. So yeah, if you can figure out that, I'll figure out a way to mount it.
You'll figure out a way to mount it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe that's the way we got to go then.
That makes two of us. I would much rather see the locker room cam myself. Not shit on your idea here, dude. And also, yeah, I'm kind of like Mr. O'Shea here. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, but I want to stay out of this personal conversation because I'm confused at what we've been doing on this show. Good job, guys.
Well, speaking of liking things and getting along with others, is there anybody other than Al Snow that you like or get along with in the locker room?
You know what, man? I'll be honest with you. If you're cool with me, I'm going to be cool with you as far as the locker room goes. And I think, and I mean this, I think TNA right now has got a really, really talented, really, really hungry locker room. And I think that's really, really cool. And I'm really using a lot of really, really, really long-winded adjectives right now. Anyways, I think it's cool for this point. There's a lot of new blood in TNA coming in like the last, probably 6 to 9 months. I think as you guys as fans can easily see that. And I think someone else said it in an interview, or maybe it was like Mike or Maria about it's like kind of TNA 2.0 or a renaissance. And that's really exciting for me as both a fan and as a talent. And I'm not knocking anybody that came before me by any means. But previously, especially in TNA, we had a lot of the same guys. And again, I'm not knocking anybody, but we had a lot of the same matches. We had a lot of the same guys. We knew what these guys were. We knew what these guys were about. We knew how they wrestled. We knew their personalities. And we saw it in various little tweaks and interacting and wrestling with different people. Well, now in TNA, a lot of those guys are gone. And they're expanding their horizons. They've gone elsewhere, continuing their careers. So in TNA, you've got a lot of newer guys who are very, very talented in the ring and very good at what they do, but maybe aren't as well known or well established as some of the former guys were. That's exciting because you get to see these guys developed on TV as a fan and see what they become or what they are, what they're strong at or what they're not strong at, and see them try to get that better and enhance that and make themselves better. And you get a bunch of fresh matchups as a fan, and you don't know what they're going to be yet. That's kind of cool. That's kind of exciting to me. And I think you can kind of hear that in my voice. And as a talent, that's exciting too, because you got a bunch of fresh talent to have fresh matches with and to tell fresh stories with. So it kind of revitalizes things, in my opinion. So now, man, I think I don't have a problem with anybody in the locker room whatsoever. I think there's a lot of cool guys and there's a lot of talent. There's the whole knockouts section that's just, my buffet of fun. We got Brazilians, we've got Asian girls, we've got Canadians, we've got Americans, we got white girls, we got girls with booties, we got girls with no booties. We got everything. I think the wrestling's the same way. You're seeing some high flying, you're seeing some brawling, you're seeing some monsters, you're seeing some hardcore, your technicians. You got a little bit of everything, and you're seeing guys that have been around like the Hardys in different ways. That's cool to me, man. So I got a little long-winded on that answer, but it is something that excites me both as a fan and as a talent to see what it's going to become.
No, absolutely. And, I did actually catch that whole interview that Maria, spoke about. And she was sort of speaking about the renaissance of, that was in the past. We're a new breed. And, you're definitely seeing that with this current roster, both with the knockouts and the male roster. So it is an exciting time, which is why I'm really hoping that, we get to see you on screen too, because, you're part of that group as well.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. Again, I don't want to sound like an arrogant asshole, but I think I fit in with that completely. And I fit in a unique way where I bring something different to the table. There ain't an animal like me right now as far as TNA goes, or really much similar like me in all of wrestling. So no, I'm definitely, again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I just got to, try to bite my tongue, be patient, and be confident that my time will come, that, Dixie and Big and all these guys that, the picture they're painting, the plan they have, I fit in somewhere, and hopefully somewhere, and it's a big way that I can grow into an even bigger, picture for them. And I told Big John one time, I said, look, John, you might not think that I'm going to be your Tom Brady quarterback and, score that touchdown or whatever, but man, fuck, I might be that Gronkowski sort of a guy that gets you to that red zone, or sets up the touchdown for you. Maybe that's me, maybe it's not. Maybe I become the guy and I'm the top dog for a minute. Maybe I'm not, but I think I fit into the puzzle, so we'll see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man himself, the thug, Aiden O'Shea. Aiden, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and doing the show. It means a lot to us. We are here. We love what you're doing. I legitimately, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You are by far the best wrestling act on social media, on the internet. You are tearing it up. Before we're going to let you go, thank you for answering my phone call. I think it's the first or second one you've actually answered when I've tried calling you, but we are the Mutt Militia. We've got a lot of followers, our Heelcasters, Heelcast hotties, and of course we are the Mutt Militia together. Do you have any final?
You guys can be the Mutt Militia, but you keep your hands off the Heelcast hotties. Just send them my way.
That's the reason we're recruiting them.
Well, then we're on the same page. Then you guys, you can be first General Mutt. Then, and that's your.
Hey, Aiden, anybody that's wearing the Heelcast hottie underwear, they're property of the Heelcast, brother. You're gonna have to find your own mutts, baby.
He'll do better than us.
Yeah, I probably will. So you said it though, not me. So like, I don't even want to show you what my resume looks like as far as that goes. I don't want to like hurt any egos.
So Aiden, do you have any final words before you go that you want to let the Mutt Militia out there know about, or why they want to see you on Impact in your rare thug form?
Yeah, guys. I mean, as far as you guys, I appreciate the support. Like I told you earlier, it's kind of. It's humbling, and it caught me off guard that you guys have been so supportive and standing by me and getting the petition going, because you guys enjoy what I do and are entertained by my sarcastic assholishness or my bully-like ways. So again, I could say it's all blue in the face. Like, thank you. And anybody else out there who isn't really sure what I'm about or who I am or why they should want to watch me on TV, man, give me a follow on Twitter. It's just Aiden O'Shea, AIDEN OSHEA TNA, with one of those little silly A circle things in front, the ampersand, and give me a follow. I'm pretty sure I'll either annoy you, irritate you, entertain you, or offend you within probably about 24 hours. But again, guys, thanks for your time, man. I had a blast. I always try to, I think one of the cool things about pro wrestling that makes it unique is how we interact with the fans and how we are accessible to fans. Either it's Twitter or it's these blogs or live at a match. I think that's what makes pro wrestling stand out, and one of the things that made it, what it is today, why people are fans. So I always try to do stuff like this. So I thank you guys for the opportunity. Other than that, man, if you guys are a fan, I got the t-shirts at the prowrestlingtees.com, Aiden O'Shea store. There's a couple options up there. Hopefully I got a couple more coming, and hopefully you guys see me soon on Impact on Pop.
Absolutely, I agree. Again, Aiden O'Shea, the Thug, change.org, sign the petition. Aiden, thanks for showing up and answering the call, man.
All right, you take care, boys. Have a good night.
You too.
Adios.
TNA Asylum Heelcast.
This is a special week for us. Look, we just did the sound off for you. We got Aiden O'Shea, the Thug. Go to change.org, sign the petition. We are showing you guys why you want him on TV. I'll be honest with you, that heel work that he did, ripping down the Heelcast listeners, our friends on TNA Asylum, our one of our hosts on this show, a friend of the show, and the chairman, my man, Danish Court. It was great stuff. Guys, it's all in fun. Don't take it personal. This is heel work at its best. Aiden O'Shea tearing it up. Now, you got that part. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because our Slammiversary preview / Impact review, it's a celebration of Slammiversary. It's going on now. Thank you. It's the best week of the year. Until Bound for Glory.
EC3 is ready for Sunday, ready for Slammiversary. Will EC3 get his final redemption by defeating the Miracle at Slammiversary? And Matt and Jeff Hardy are scheduled to have a Full Metal Mayhem match. Will Matt Hardy be world champion come Sunday? What's going to happen in our main event? And what's the status of Jeff Hardy?
And another matchup we've been looking forward to is the Empress of the Knockouts division, Gail Kim versus the First Lady of Professional Wrestling, Maria.
Yeah, and what status will Gail Kim be in come Sunday? The World Tag Team titles hang in the balance as Decay defend their Tag Team Championship against the Bromans.
We have Eddie Edwards, Trevor Lee, DJ Z, and Andrew Everett in a four-way matchup for the X Division title.
And then in the main event at Slammiversary on Sunday, exclusively on pay-per-view, it's Drew Galloway defending his title against Lashley. Galloway gets past Matt Hardy tonight.